Welcome back to Nightmind, friends, and welcome to the surprise release of the very first taste of Giggleland in the form of a standalone demo, Terry's Vegetable Patch, based on the first cartoon made by KMW, developed during Debbie and Simon's childhood. It is its own unique story exploring an abandoned section of the park, as stated by the developers, and they wanted us to have a taste, give feedback, and let them know if they're heading in the right direction. The link to the demo is in the video description and pinned comment, so if you're feeling curious and brave, give it a spin. When the announcement came, I flew out of bed, got ready for the night, and took the demo right to Nightmind Live. You can watch the whole experience with all initial reactions over on the live channel. Just go to the live tab and click, or hit the video description for the link. I've also got the info card here. Otherwise, I've got the clean recording and thoughts for you in this video, of course. The very first thing I'm going to say, it's exactly what everyone following the ARG and excited about the game was looking for. The intro screen alone is exciting to behold, just to know it's accessible. It's actually here, a playable piece of Giggleland. The serious tone and music is a great contrast to the visuals, especially now that we have such familiarity in the online game narrative that Giggleland's candy sweet appearance doesn't hold water anymore. We open on a large sign for Terry's Vegetable Patch, the zone we're entering, and the huge barn doors revealing that massive inner space. It's a trip to enter, seeing just how expansive it is, with the announcer's voice changing from local to distant, echoing around the huge room.
Welcome, little farmer. Farmer Terry is in dire need of your help. You need to restore the farm to its former glory. It's important that all life on the farm is protected, from animals to plants to the children who visit. We care greatly for you all. On the farm, there are rules you must follow.
There's rules? Well, I guess we can't have fun without being safe.
That's right. Let's make everyone happy now, shall we?
I think we can do that.
Of course, from here, your gameplay begins, guided by the interactive diorama in the center. Mechanics of the room are easy. Find a particular jar when prompted, place it in the right pipe, and send it away.
Children are at their best when they're happy. It is our duty to provide them with the best things in life, after all. Besides, children best behave when they have something they truly like.
What do kids like? I know I like something sweet.
As you go about each task, enjoy the sights, the sounds, and the slowly boiling tension building in the space. I want you to observe right away how good design is here when it comes to scale. You're playing as Tolly, the main character of the game, a young girl lost in the park looking for her father, and you really do feel that you're the size of a child. It's not just that this place and its design is large. Your character and perspective is this vulnerably small. The mix of elements in this way is a great effect, because you can tell from an adult point of view that it's not outrageous. It does actually feel like it's at scale for a theme park of this nature. This is what Tolly's experiencing. What struck me immediately exploring the space was how easily I could imagine families around inside of it. Little crowds dispersed about, looking at the play spaces and exhibits, with room enough for people to walk around them, and that's such excellency of design. Your theme park looks and feels like a theme park, even as it's empty. You pick up plenty immediately regarding narrative for Giggleland. The barn from the KMW commune, which is seen at the end of Elliot's adventure, in one of the secret endings. The apple tree from Perfect Little Apples. The garden of dead bullies from Elliot and Ella episode 3 with a frowning carrot. Nobody else knows what's under those piles of dirt, but we sure do. Around the attraction space, you'll find objects you can pick up, like terrific treats, giggle chips, runner's chips, like the runners in the commune, and baby bottles left scattered around. Chilling when you remember how much media there is regarding crying children and infants. You'll also catch sight of several cameras that light up and track your movements, a great paranoia-driving touch from the get-go. I do love the atmospheric fog, and I love the lighting and elements like string-suspended clouds. Lighting instances like the bit of red in this immediately visible corner with no entry makes us think of the trailer and screenshots from early on. The whole layout is superb for getting the tone. As I mentioned years ago in my Resident Evil 7 video, priming is key. You've got to get people comfortable while giving them little touches that instill a sense of unease, which then are let go, but not really, and allow the sense of normal as it exists in each phase to kick in again. From initial exploration, we've got control, familiarizing ourselves with environment, but also coming across items or sites of a concerning nature. We're also not given access to everything at first just for grounds to walk on, with a little rope barrier in front of the entrances to the back half. The inside of the barn is great, with its adorable and creepy mechanical sheep munching away on their feed, all in unison. Take this atmosphere in for a moment. Look, movement, and sound. It's a great mix of love and care taken, especially in this initial quiet. You'll find another great instance upstairs, where there's a long play slide just ahead of your first objective area. Take in this experience. Notice the movement and noises. How good was that, right? Really simulated what it's like going down a tube slide. And of course it did come with a touch of paranoia we'd see something unsavory, these being our initial steps into Giggleland. Upstairs, you enter the sugar room, with plenty of treats and items that aren't for eating. Plushes, clocks, mugs. I'll take an Elliot and Ella plush and a mug of each, thank you. And David Lynch admirers, please enjoy the love note to Eraserhead on the back wall behind the Heaven Candy Bar. I caught that immediately. The monitor above the sugar jar is our first in-your-face hint the experience is about to get into Terry's idea of a theme park for children. Only through purity can one unlock the sweetest of rewards. Vague, intimidating, out of tone. That's just on brand. Submit the sugar to the wall pipe, hit the diorama, and...
Farm equipment works best when it works just right. It is our duty to make sure nothing breaks down, after all. Besides, the equipment works best when it can power on even in the darkest of nights.
Isn't it dangerous to do farm work at night?
So now the fun really begins, because this is where Giggleland's devs show they know how terror increase truly works, while allowing some of the more in-your-face touches we expect of something designed by Terry. Approach the now open entrance to Harley and Clark's henhouse, and you'll catch writing on the wall, literally, alongside some ghostly figures approaching from the painted forest. He holds the child's hand and brings him to the sleepy garden. Uncle, where are we going? The sleepy garden is a new concept for us, but we know what this is. Uncle Terry leading a child away, probably to the grim fate alluded to in clues from Act 2. Enter the henhouse and you'll find another baby bottle. There are a few around here, like a taunt. Then proceed up the stairs. As I mentioned, the fun's begun. Shadow Elliot from the trailer is around, and it's not the only place you can spot him. If you'd gone into the back half with the nursery first, you would have seen him behind a tree. He's entirely gone upon inspection, but now you know he's around and on the move. Enjoy your time exploring the henhouse with all its details, then pick up the jar of fuel located in the wheat field. Little scary touches, don't you love them? It may have mysteriously fallen on its own, but we're in a space purposely designed to play head games, and that gives it a little more license than just doing things to increase our attention. It's also the best immediate indicator that the fuel can is here. The pipe for this is in another location, and there are options for how to get there, though you'll want to take the way past the barn where careful observers will note a change. The sheep are out of sync. Head down the line to the end, and you'll spot one that's fallen over and broken a leg. Is this what disturbed the rest of the flock? In the back half of the overall area, you'll find more mystery figures emerging from the woods. You're also able to approach the nursery and read the sign up front for info on plants and how Terry does gardening, with an Elliot plush on the ground you can pick up, and you're able to peep through the keyhole in that door. Are you feeling scared yet? Doesn't feel good to linger here, does it? Let's just leave any thought of that Elliot suit alone and go upstairs, where an employee access door can be opened. Inside are a few posters. Elliot and Ella keeping us safe, saying they've got their eyes on us. A notice for people to play together, because lone players get extra attention, and I have no idea what they could mean by this. A notice to look for Terry, or a trusted adult, if help is needed, with a baby chick following his boot. A reminder to keep the parks clean, and a mention of rest areas if you're tired, but naps exceeding 10 minutes may cause unintended consequences. Might be a hint for the main game about not hanging in one place too long, lest you meet a mascot. This little hall leads to the storage and maintenance area, with the fuel pipe. It's another large, intimidating space, with some objects to pick up and examine. Ignore yet another baby bottle out of place and the jar of nails you won't be using, and send the fuel into the generator. Then receive next instructions at the diorama. These moments are great for achieving that increase in tension while delivering on a bit of scare. We know we're not alone in here. Shadow Elliot's around, things are opening on their own. And even if something does fall down here and there, we understand the construction of the mind game. Terry's whole extra layer is mind games. We've known since the launch of the narrative game journey. It's definitely effective to have these hints in which the silence or low atmospheric sound and touch of music is quickly shattered. And then we're left to come down through the phases of the scare, into an unsettled level of not entirely comfortable.
Animals are at their best when they're taken care of. It is our duty to keep the animals from getting out, after all. Besides, animals will never leave if you give them something that makes them so happy.
Oh, I would hate for an animal to get loose on our water.
And now it's pure horror time. A thick, long, aggressively red trail of blood across the floor, with several pooling spots of coagulation, as if whatever or whoever was dragging the victim had to stop for a moment. The smiling carrot has turned away from the scene, and the tree's been marked too. On approach, the door under red lighting to a staff-only area swings open. We'll take a look in there. Going to have to, it's clear, but only after we see if anything has changed elsewhere. If you check on the sheep, you'll find they're back in sync, but the injured one is now missing. The writing outside Harley and Clark's henhouse has expanded, and the figures in the woods are much more visible. He struck the disobedient claws that aimed to stop his fate. I have done wrong, and I must atone, it says. In the henhouse, one of the chickens have fallen, and in the wider environment, you'll find a tree standee shattered. A lot of violence is occurring behind your back in this place. If you return to the storage area, you'll find that missing sheep laid on a wood pallet to be fixed. The insinuation of it going missing while that blood trail's on the ground and ending up in a staff-only area is clear. Exploring gives you the chance to see how many more figures are emerging from the forest on the walls, increasing the tension so quietly as they surround you. Feed the animal is the instruction you've got in the top left now, and the animal in the diorama is a pig. You can find pig feed in the barn at the work table, and it comes with an audio cue letting you know this is the right item. You've got nowhere to go except the staff area downstairs now. Through this. Feeling tense. That's understandable. This is a very tense segment, contrasting in a terrifying way to the world above. So dark, red candles, a distant red room. You just don't know safety in this segment or what's waiting at the end. A lot of terror-priming mind games have been played on you so far, and this is when you're tensing up, because whatever's waiting for you might collect at any moment. Spotting the coffin-like box connected to huge chains in the center of the room ahead doesn't help. No, you don't want to go near that thing. And you spot the locks on it as you inch over to the pipe, trying to ignore the pig noises and ambient sounds. At first, going into this room, I had no idea if that was going to burst open and begin a chase sequence. Seeing it jolt like that gives you an immediate jump. And this jump scare is not just deeply earned, it doesn't release you. It's just deepening the fear, which is an awesome tactic. Most players, I imagine, haul ass out of there immediately after using the food jar. Up top, you know the routine, hoping all the while you don't suddenly find yourself chased or running into something.
Crops are at their worst when the weeds begin to grow. We cannot let the weeds taint our succulent harvests, after all. Besides, if the weeds are removed from the garden, all life will be safe from harm.
A crime scene at the barn. Looks like Terry was finally caught. And all around you, the forest has disappeared, replaced with a ring of dark figures. The new writing at the henhouse reads, he holds up his hands and prepares for the final act. You are going to the forest and will awaken anew. There's a factor of enjoying just how cool new elements of terror and horror set dressing are in games, and this is a moment for it. The use of these figures slowly emerging all this time to encircle you is one of my favorite things about Terry's Vegetable Patch. It's a slow burn approach that is so silent and literally all around you as you progress. It's not too much, it's not too little. It started as an element to notice rather than trying to get in your face, and now it's unavoidable. Exploring the area, you find the gate to the garden has been shattered and the spotlight on a new jar. Pesticide, right on top of what we know is a corpse from the Elliot and Ella episode on weeding the garden. Nearby is a tree with posters on it for a missing boy, Isaac Miller, 9 years old. Missing since April 17, 2025. This year. Wow. He requires daily medication too and could appear confused or disoriented. Run the pesticide to the nursery, pass some purple flowers, then put it in the pipe, send it off, and hope nothing leaves from the greenery to attack you. Then finish the diorama. I think it's worth it at this time to remind you, this area isn't done with your attention. It continues to build even now, no moment of release in sight. You got to navigate this path, unsure of what this is alluding to outside of a graveyard as you pass by headstones and candles. Around the stairs to the staff area with red lighting. Down again, towards the coffin-like box that held what sounded like a pig. Now open, and an exit in the brick wall. Slide through, proceed, and load into a new area. You're not done yet. If you did stop to catch the writing of the henhouse entrance on the way, you'll find the end of the story. The child breathes his last. The flowers begin to bloom. I know your faith, for now I know that you fear God. Impressions of child sacrifice, in the same manner alluded to by Elliot's adventure? Absolutely. Now in the corridors, you pass some clean posters and experience a surprising moment.
How the heck are we supposed to get up there?
Why would Elliot suddenly be talking to you about this like Johnny Silverhand giving interaction hints to V? A moment ago, he was just a voice on a recording.
You really can't turn back now.
And there it is again. How would you hear him like this in the vents? It's incredibly unnerving, and the sound design as you make your way through, unsure if you're going to run into a threat or horrifying sight, makes it such a rich experience in terror. Here, listen and watch as this unfolds. Observe how that worked for a second, because it's something to appreciate, and it's going to happen again. Elliot is a magician, right? His costume is that of the Stage Magic Pro, and their work is all about misdirection of attention. You exit here, spot the open door. Curiosity draws you in. You've got enough space to look around, you're looking, and bam! Door slams, gives you a little scare, denies your moment of agency to get more footing and comfort. Tension is freshened. You turn around then, and that's when you see all the writing saying, "It wears my skin," a message we got from Act 2. A little stage magic misdirection. That's how you do it. Look over here, observe the rings, sleight of hand, now the rings are separated and there's blood all over the walls. Very good. Get in the vent, keep on going. I stopped to make a remark about this while playing it live because it was so effective. The sound cue striking as you read these words, especially Tolly's name, hits on cue in the same way that it would hit for Tolly. In this moment, you are Tolly crawling through the vent, and her scares are your scares, which is something so easy to forget in the experience until the developers remember that the first-person character is, in fact, a character. I'm thrilled about this detail. It's grounding for the player's empathy and impactful to their scare sensitivities. Now, check out how the vent exit ends.
Don't be afraid. I'm always watching you.
So, let's examine this real quick. You step out, notice the upper platform and door ajar, the inaccessibility, and after Elliot says he's always watching you, then you look back around and he's right there in standee form. Misdirection magic! Don't you love it? And it gets even better. Check this out. That is a real screenshot that's taken, by the way, and it's in the folder it says it is. Here's mine, taken from the upper layer. Yes, Elliot is watching you, and he will take photos of you that are available to view from positions you cannot catch him. This is a stalking enemy that operates on a great new mind games level. Now, you can enter the office, and in exploring, Elliot will continue making remarks.
This place looks pretty boring.
There are some odd paintings on the walls, which began earlier in the vent crawl. Later on, we'll talk about them. In this room, you'll find your first interactive document, reading. I had another conversation with Terry. It always goes like this. I give him a script, he rewrites it to be horrific. I try to change it, and he rejects my version. His stories have gotten worse. The kids can't keep watching this. It's not good for them. We always have this talk, but this time was different. He said our talks make him feel like he's a father telling his son to eat his vegetables. He put his hand on my shoulder and told me he's not torturing me, but helping me. He made this joke about how I need to grow big and strong soon to help him out. I didn't understand what he meant. He told me something great will happen soon, something that will need my help. He tightened his grip for a moment, then left. What is he trying to do?
I hope you don't grow up to become a boring adult with a boring office job.
Elliot speaking like this generates a unique combo of unease and companionship, which is exactly what I think he should feel like, right? So great job on that direction, devs and writers, and Elliot's voice actor and director. Find a long plank in the office, lay it across the gap to the next area, and walk over. Through the next hall, another storage area in labyrinthine layout. But on the way, a document. Terry came to my desk today and told me a story. He said it was a story from his childhood. I forgot this man was a child once, an innocent young boy who could probably do no wrong. The story was about a young farmer trying to feed his animals. When the animals were plump, they'd be slaughtered and shared with the small village nearby. However, the grass was dry and no amount of water could grow food for the animals. The animals were thin and died within days. The villagers began to starve and some would not make it through the nights. The farmer thought for a long time and realized there was something he could give. He went to the village and gave the leader his sickle. He asked to be cut open so his meat could feed the villagers and his blood to seep into his crops. The villagers cut him open and ate his remains. With his blood, they poured it onto his crops. Within days, the crops began to bloom and produce fruit and vegetables. I never heard a children's story like that. I asked him where he learned it, but he wouldn't answer. He told me that wasn't important, but the lesson was what truly mattered. A lesson he was preparing to enact. A lesson where one person's selflessness will bring joy to the rest. What is he going to do? A question we know the answer to, or believe we do at present. In the next area, Elliot asks where we are, in the tone of actively looking for Tully. You can spot Standy's Aurora here, who was noticeably absent from the main area. Wonder what that was about. Make your way through, noticing a lever, and another page of the story relayed by a KMW commune member. Terry was teaching the younger kids the basics of gardening. I hate the teachers for letting him get so close to the kids. He saw me and asked for help getting some supplies from the barn. I should have said no. I followed him into the barn and something caught my eye. There were some wooden boxes in the corner near the cellar. He saw me looking at them and told me he'd show me what's inside later. He wanted it to be private. We brought out the supplies and I offered to help with the lesson. Terry told me I should get back to making some scripts. I didn't want to cause a scene in front of the kids, so I did as I was told. As I left, I noticed Terry watching one boy in particular. I think his name was Isaac. He was a spitfire, but a kind kid. Terry had this weird smile while watching him. Why was he looking at him like that? As you make your way through the maze, check out the sign that says, "Where smiles are forever." See that flower on top? Sure looks like Datura from Elliot's adventure. In the next area, experience another taunt in the form of a screenshot taken of your position, then look over the ledge. There's a lever down there, matching two others you passed on the way. Head down and see a sign mentioning how the power requires all three. Now seated next to the one here, an Elliot mascot. Summon your courage, because you'll need to walk right up next to him to get going. You'll find another document looking around first though, continuing the writer's tale. I feel sick. I can't stop my hands from shaking, but I need this to be known. I can't keep this all in my head. I need to know it was real. Terry took me to the barn after our script editing. He opened one of the boxes and revealed a set of old-looking knives. He made them himself and carefully swiped one of them across his finger. Even with the gentlest touch, he began to bleed. It made him giddy. Then he opened the cellar and had me look down. A giant stone laid in the middle of the room. I could just see the meat hooks hanging on the walls. I asked him why he brought me to the slaughter hall. He let out the biggest laugh I have ever heard from him. He was on the verge of tears and needed a minute to calm down. That room isn't for animals. It's a new project he's trying. Something that has to do with that boy, Isaac. A project where the selflessness of one will benefit us all. What the fuck is he going to do? Now, put the page down, run to all the levers, run back, jump on the power lift, and go to the top.
Right behind you.
Another screenshot, another moment unsure if you should just run. But if you run dead ahead, you'll appear in this room full of fun things, like the scribblings of a lunatic obsessed with you and people in your Steam friends list randomly pulled up. There's a lot to look at in here, and messages like, "I miss you when you are away, come to me," and "Gee, you've been busy." The audio in this sequence, a heartbeat and faint alarm sound, makes you feel like you need to hide or run immediately. A book in this room is called Marketing Tools. Is ARG included in there? Close by is a wax-sealed letter. Very odd. The desktop computer will display your actual desktop with an interaction to shut it down, initiating a psych-out shutdown sequence. A little pyramid of TVs is found in the corner, with the top running a loop of Elliot's mascot texture. In another corner, a makeshift bed under posters, a shelf of Shay the Sheep plushes, and the word protect over and over. A little up and to the right, "Oh sacred lamb, give me strength, strength, strength." It's a cool character losing their mind hole, and there are some interesting photos depicting a hospital of some sort. The old children's home, that orphanage mentioned in Act 2 maybe. Some security feed monitors are up near the ceiling, with angles related to the screenshots taken. That makes sense. The announcer and Elliot speaking while following Tully's progress is interesting to think about. Really, who was in this room? You're almost out, but before all this, one last document from the KMW scriptwriter, left outside the door leading to this area. I need to find him. I have to get him out of here. I think I can sneak him through the front later tonight, but where would he go after that? He can't stay in the woods by himself. How do I get him out of here? After the runners come back, I can take a car. I'll drive him to town. Maybe we could take him to the police. His mother has to be looking for him, right? Fuck. I don't even know his last name. Maybe he'll just know by a wanted poster or something. Terry's coming. I need to find Isaac. Leaving the stalking individual's room, you'll find the progress route is another vent. Crawl through, drop down a grade into a new branching path choice, and take the right side first to find a drawing of a young girl and Elliot and another document. Page 2 of 3 of a classified research report for cognitive behavioral analysis in an interactive media exposure study run by Dr. Sarah at the Kids Media Workshop Research Department. When the KMW site updated and said it had no affiliation with anyone named Sarah, did they refer to this Sarah? Observation period, days 1 to 7. Subject is displaying new behaviors after playing the game for approximately 7 days. Subject believes Elliot is trying to talk to them through unusual ways. As reported on day 2, subject described odd visual glitches within the game. When the team tried to replicate these glitches, however, they were unable to recreate what the subject saw. Subject now believes these are messages for only them to see. Today, subject expressed frustration at redacted interviewed. Subject believes that Elliot is redacted game in the real world. Subject has expressed a need to go to the park within the game to meet Elliot. When a member of the team told them they could not go to the park, subject redacted. Subject had not shown such intense emotion in previous experience. Subject would beg the team to take them to the park to meet Elliot. Another redaction. Subject is unable to distinguish between reality and fiction and anticipates more special signs from Elliot. Outcome is desirable. Team to report their findings to T. The rest of the valuable info is redacted. Tough not to stop and read all of this in-game, but in such an unpredictable environment, it's not really smart. Go on through the vents, then a small room leading to a warehouse with a large blue house.
Wow, I wonder who lives here. Hello? Tully?
And with that, you're done. Hope you enjoyed your visit to Terry's vegetable patch, because I sure did. Let's do a summary rundown. The scare factor is here, intelligently so, and the devs are still not showing us any true run for your life or hide and hold still moments to cash in on it, which is a testament to the potency. Terror is indeed at play. It's a Boyle approach, keeping the heat turning up until you really can't stand it. Visuals. We've discussed those a fair deal, though I'll highlight again how great the environment work is for this idea. Audio. My praise to the audio engineer, sound designer, or both, anyone contributing to sound for Giggleland. From the ambient music to the voice actors and directors, thank you for delivering such a great experience. It's effective, it's immersive, gets the atmosphere just right, and knows when to bring in great little touches of Foley. In terms of gameplay, some mechanics beyond what we've experienced here will keep it from walking simulator labeling. A taste of the experience, I understand running just a simple process like the diorama and the levers that power the lift, and I do anticipate we'll see more, but I'm going to underline that. Getting a bit more variety in what we need to do navigating Giggleland will assist greatly in keeping our interest and the fun factor. High-level puzzle work is not what we're here for. The ARG is doing a huge amount of that lifting, but a bit more survival horror inspiration might help. Could we need to eat those snacks every now and then to recover from physical or mental trauma in the park, for instance? If it's not already hinting at that, then it might help to incorporate a system like it. Mind games are working well in Giggleland, and some of the more interesting and surprising ones, like screenshots and pulling from the Steam Friends list, are very cool psychological touches. Now, doing a game like this, with as many streamers and Let's Players who are going to play it as anticipated, incorporating personalized touches dealing with info from someone's account or device is a very gray area. There are a lot of things that might be cool on paper, and not totally good in practice, especially for unaware streamers trying this for the first time. Screenshots in-game going to your documents folder? Cool. Awesome surprise. Very creepy. A monitor in the game that shows your actual desktop with whatever wallpaper you might have. Not always going to be the best idea and potentially risky for some streamers. Quick note, there is a streamer mode now that blurs the elements I'm talking about, which is good, but this feedback overall is for the actual finished Giggleland game, since I know Terry's vegetable patch is mainly done. I'll make this clear, a lot of great scary fun is occurring right now without any of the kind of touches observed in this room. It might be easier on development time to just not do a ton of this when the gameplay power is going to serve you stronger in overall impact and people remembering the experience. Just knowing how much the game is subverting expectations through horror game mechanics and Elliot's presence is winning you a lot of points. That's where I would lean in a lot more, especially in the mind game angle. If tech-based mind games are a major point for Giggleland, maybe concentration on the kind of tricks that have nothing to do with the player's life and are instead based on device functionality and gameplay expectations are called for. It could spare you a lot of potential upsets, headaches, and concerns in development and game rollout to gear switch the method just a bit. I would focus on in-game scares and little bits of psychological mindfuckery. The story told in documents is not surprising knowing Terry, and it does confirm what Act 2 was giving us. He's into human sacrifice. The kids are going on the altar to do something for the commune. It's unknown exactly what Terry's beliefs are, but mentions of the moon in Act 2 come to mind looking at that very detailed moon face in the art above the diorama. Isaac being taken in 2025 is a shock. I don't know what to make of that date. And in the storytelling, are we sure this is Simon? It's a scriptwriter, having exactly the kind of experience Simon's been through, but the timeline is immediately confusing due to this date. Is it Isaac in the sack at the end or someone else? Unsure. In matters of what's in there, we might be able to look at the Elliot mascot now in matters of discerning the meaning behind "It wears my skin." We know anyone or anything could wear that costume, and we know whatever was in the coffin-like box in the basement got out. What takes study is the page of the report found in the vent. The game is being used in research and development? Findings match up to what the announcement trailer hinted at. Elliot is behaving unusually within the game, appearing where he shouldn't, as indicated by subject-described odd visual glitches within the game. That's observable in the playthrough, running into Shadow Elliot, and his comments over the speaker system make us feel followed. The subject in the study playing Giggleland expressed a sincere desire to go to the theme park so they could meet Elliot, and truly believe they were receiving communication from him, which appears to occur outside the game too. They can't distinguish between reality and fiction, which is a major element of unfiction, making reality twist in a fun way. This outcome is desirable to them. The game is designed to include mind games, but this one is especially odd. Desirable outcome, but is it also intentional, I wonder? If so, how are they doing it? This is page 2 of 3. Where are the other pages? Now, those paintings. They're by William Blake, an English writer and poet who lived in the late 1700s and early 1800s, whose work concerned a lot of countercultural ideas. He was very spiritually inclined, experiencing visions from an early age and communication with the spirit of his deceased brother. He also exhibited symptoms of severe mental confusion, often written off as purely mad for his fits. Contemporaries found him as brilliant as they did unwell, just at a glance of this aspect of his living. Psychoanalyst Carl Jung, having studied Blake, once said, "Blake is a tantalizing study since he compiled a lot of half or undigested knowledge in his fantasies." According to my ideas, they are an artistic production rather than an authentic representation of unconscious processes. In the works by Blake, we have the Book of a Reason, one of the entries in a series of personal mythology works, much inspired by his views in an artistic lens, as Young pointed out, and following the Bible's methods of portraying knowledge and metaphor. The portraits we see in Terry's vegetable patch are from the Book of a Reason, which is a creation myth analogous with God of the Old Testament and Adam of Eden. A quick study of William Blake and the concept of the Book of a Reason, combined with the other factors of spiritual belief in the demo, lead me to believe that we're not being given pieces of this book in order to glean its metaphorical relation, but to understand Terry more. He's got the fascination with William Blake, and might see himself as a Blake figure, understanding the world in ways other people don't and doing things that he knows the meaning of in a manner others would dismiss as madness. I think it's a clue about the character mentality, not so much the literal detail map of his personal belief system. Alright, so let's examine that then, in conjunction with the literal writing on the walls, the testimony of the developer who was a scripter, and what we know of Terry's ultimate treatment of children in the commune in the true KMW belief system. He holds the child's hand and brings him to the sleepy garden. "Uncle, where are we going?" He struck the disobedient claws that aimed to stop his fate. "I have done wrong and I must atone." He holds up his hands and prepares for the final act. "You are going to the forest and will awaken anew." The child breathes his last. The flowers begin to bloom. "I know your faith, for now I know that you fear God." This is easier to discern at the end than during gameplay. Terry is taking a child to be sacrificed for one of his rituals. Thing about it is that one line, "You're going to the forest and will awaken anew." We've seen a lot of childlike ominous figures emerge from the woods during gameplay. I'm thinking this is the awaken anew part. Flowers blooming after the child breathes his last runs in line with Terry's childhood story of the farmer sacrificing himself, and his blood bringing the crops back to life. Sleepy garden. It's gotta be over in the corner, right? And Terry says he's done wrong, must atone. Bullies are killed in Elliot and Ella, laid in the ground in mounds just like these. And in Perfect Little Apples, what happens to bad apples? Chopped up, laid in the ground, the nutrients for new good trees. We've got apple trees all around the play areas to remind us of the storybook. If Terry's in charge of the kids, and a kid is done wrong, then Terry's done wrong and must atone. Therefore, guess who gets sacrificed? Alright, Act 2 lets us know Terry's been making human sacrifices out of kids. Now, we have that firm confirmation, but two new pieces have emerged. An idea of himself as some form of seer, and the idea that these children do not stay dead. The way he says the child will awaken new, the amount of humanoid dark figures that emerge from the forest and surround you as things go on. Is this a matter we're going to have to worry about? Or is it just Terry's idea in the sacrifice? What about the thing in the basement that needed feeding? One of the fun parts of exploring supernatural belief system horror stories is the degree of exploration for how much the supernatural-leaning villain is actually onto the truth, and if you get to see the thing they've been working towards all movie long. It sounds as if the psychological horror aspect of Giggleland, as indicated in the report, might be infringing on supernatural territory, or, that is itself, a mind game. The mind game theme, the slippery idea of are you onto something or are you mad that comes in the study of William Blake is also at play in two angles now in Giggleland. Terry and his belief systems, and the experience of Giggleland and Elliot's presence. I love these ideas and the ways that we're experiencing them, and I'd love to see more of Elliot's glitchy, abnormal invasion. I don't suppose we'll get a chance to see or save the real Elliot inside this mess though? Devs? Is it too much to ask at this point for a chance to rescue Simon and Debbie's Elliot? I guess I just needed to ask. Act 2 did a number emotionally. Here's something I don't have any answers for at this point. The person watching Tolly, who is also studying us as players. This isn't clear. It's very apparent they're off kilter too. But who is it? Simon? Another Dev? Terry himself, somehow? A different antagonist inside the game world? Why are they after us too? And the issue with Simon here is an issue, honestly. I don't know his placement in all of this, because it doesn't seem like he would have stayed this long, right? And with Giggleland's demo informing us directly that Terry is one twisted, murderous cult leader masquerading as a child psychiatrist, can we even attribute the game to KMW's creation anymore? Maybe Simon got away entirely and built this whole game to tell the world what Terry did through the lens of someone's experience inside the commune. That rings true enough to me as a possibility, seeing how much of the elements come together in one game. We're very aware of how much work Simon's done to give us the info that drops Terry into the public eye. Terry never would have cast himself in this light. Right? The police shutting down the barn. They would have known. This would have been the point at which it all dropped for him and the commune ended. But why would the game have a research department report for Terry? It was in the works at KMW under him, definitely. Unless Isaac going missing this year is true and Simon really is behind the main game development, and the case of Isaac is when he got all the info he could gather and broke away, ending the commune by dropping Isaac at a police station. Maybe Simon was already breaking away, which is why we've been experiencing everything that we have, and Isaac was the last straw. Maybe Simon knew now's the time to truly run. Unless... no, something doesn't make sense here. What if Giggleland, the main game itself, is meant to be entirely under Terry's vision, sown with acts of rebellion by Simon you'll need to find? Because Simon knows it worked once with Elliot's adventure, and Terry's vegetable patch is Simon's whistleblower strike directly to Steam. Timelining what Simon knew, when he discovered it, and what he did over the years up to now would take more info. It's obvious now there's a schism between KMW and Simon during the making of Giggleland. This is Simon giving us the info on Terry, and the police did get involved at some point. Gotta be over Isaac. Did Terry begin with animal sacrifices initially, or was it always children? If Isaac disappeared on April 17th of this year, and we know Sarah went missing because somebody accessed the basement, if it's Simon who got Isaac out, if it's Simon who put out this information, the timeline doesn't work for him saving Sarah. Something's wrong here. Something's wrong with our original conception of this timeline, and who is doing what. We need more information. Suddenly, I don't know if Sarah was actually rescued by her father. There's so much that's coming out about Terry, and I'm wondering now, have we assumed too much that he cares about that happening? What if he wants that? What if we really don't know who is putting out what and why? Oh. This is one of the things I love about the Giggleland experience. They know how to deliver a payload of info and answers while introducing the next topic to ask questions about, which is just how good storytelling is, especially in horror and mystery tales. Man, and to think we still have Act 3 coming. Ooh. But really, that is all for tonight, everyone. Thank you, as always, to the members of the Giggleland Discord who were on top of examining this head to toe, from texture files to code, and immediately identified William Blake's work in the paintings. Thanks to the Giggleland devs for making Terry's vegetable patch and the incredible dedication to speed of bug fixes, glitch patches, hot fixes, and even taking moments to clear up what's leftover files versus actual clue material. You've gotta love that kind of transparency from game runners. Huge love for the immediate announcement of their receptivity to feedback and direct criticism to make Giggleland as great as it can be, as well as love for those of us in critical analysis and broadcasting of the ARG experience. Seriously, thank you. And thanks as always to you for viewing, and all the supporters of Nightmind on Patreon. This video isn't the usual NM delivery, but you can still see all the Patreon supporters at the end of this video, and my appreciation to them for all their years of supporting Nightmind, the Nightmind Index, and myself. Now along with my editor, Moon. Thanks for joining me in the dark again this evening. Once more, I'm Nick Nocturne, and like Elliot, you'll be seeing me again real soon. Until next time, beware of mysterious gardens, and sleep tight.